Greetings, everyone. We lost everybody on the last stream. There were some serious technical problems which we weren't able to identify. So I'm hoping you all can join now on this stream. And let me see if I can at least provide a link to the new location. So if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna look for my old stream. Okay, someone's here. Hate, love, nothing. Thank you for a virtual hug. God bless you. So we have two viewers here, and I'm waiting for Emory to come on board. And so I'm looking at I'm going to be sending a link, and maybe people can follow it in a live chat to this location. So we have two people, and I'm still waiting on Emory, and I have an email out to him. So thank you all for your forbearance. So I'm doing some administrative things here just to try to recover some viewers. So hate, love, nothing. Let me highlight you. Thank you so much. And I'm going to try to see if I could put this in put a link to from the old stream that died, and I'm going to see if I can I'm going to see if some more people can come from there. So, man, I just totally lost the audience, and this is really getting to be a very good discussion. So these are problems I did not expect, and God willing, we'll be able to overcome it. All right, another one. Good evening. So we have three people that came back. So maybe it's good while there's still a small subscriber base that we're able to try to iron out. Oh, I can't even type to the other people where the new stream was. So I'm still waiting on Emory. And hopefully I'll see him. Protract, I think I may have seen your handle before, but this is the this is about the first time I really noticed it. So welcome to the channel. It's great seeing you. And Godzilla Freak says, I think YouTube itself might be acting up. So, and there were funny things happening on my channel. Someone asked, is my internet, Protract asked, is my internet bad or has YouTube been acting up? So we are now, I thought maybe it could be the Restream system that's connected to YouTube. So we're going to find out if it's YouTube that is acting up. And I just got a notice from Emory that he's going to be right back. He's having to restart. So hopefully he'll be back. So he's restarting his computer. So if any of you in the side chat want to have a little bit of conversation and introduce yourselves to each other, that'd be great. Then I could learn a little bit more about you all too. So Protract asks, is my internet bad or has YouTube been acting up within the last 30 minutes? I think all of us are asking the same questions. So we have two viewers now, and let me try to at least go back to where we were. in terms of the paper we were reading. And Dr. Carter, it's great to see you. YouTube seems to be having problems for the last half hour. I'm in Southern California, so it seems to be a widespread problem. Oh boy, did YouTube get hacked? Oh, Dr. Carter, while you're here, tentatively scheduled for 9 p.m. Eastern, which would be 6 p.m. 6 p.m. your time in California. Dr. Stadler and I are thinking about having a talk on abiogenesis. The specific title of the talk is DNA Evidence for God? If you would like to join the panel, you're more than welcome to. What we're going to do is give our presentation that we would have otherwise given at a debate, but then the other party backed down. So you may hear from us, and I'd probably just send out an invitation to Dr. Chan, and since you know Dr. Ryan Hayes, that'd be great to have him on. So, Emory, are you there?
Yes, I am really sorry. So when I went to join the StreamYard stream, my browser was convinced that Skype was running. And I couldn't, I even opened and closed Skype. And it still decided, nope, Skype's running. I can't access your camera or your microphone right now. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'll just restart the computer and be done with it.
Yeah, we got some gremlins going on. And Dr. James Carter said YouTube seems to be having problems for the last half hour. So it may be a YouTube-wide problem.
Yeah.
So, well, I picked a really bad time, but that's okay because we
it happens. Because I had to restart, I gotta find the paper again. So give me a second to find it.
Yes.
Because I had to close everything to get the Brady paper.
Yeah. And let me get the Brady paper up where we left off.
I had it, and now I can't find it.
So for the viewers, apologies again. This whole shutdown and restart just threw a monkey wrench into what was actually a really good show, and we were really on a roll there for the ideas and concepts we're talking about. The main thing is that natural selection tries to equate complexity. It tries to make the tautology that complexity equals fitness.
Right.
The thing that would be unacceptable is, as Darwin said, if there's a complex organ that cannot be evolved in steps, or really, more broadly speaking, I'm just going to extend his original words a little bit. If there are complex systems that can't be built by natural selection, that would be fatal to his theory.
Yep.
And so I cited the monarch butterfly, not to mention butterflies in general. Great examples of something that should be totally selected against, but it's not. It exists. It is selected against something other than selection. It's just screaming at us. Something that other than selection has built this Rube Goldberg machine, this machine that almost is just built for amusement, because that's what Rube Goldberg machines are. It's not for the glory of the creature, it's for the glory of the designer. If we look at a Rube Goldberg machine, it's like, does it serve the purpose? Do we define a Rube Goldberg machine, its complexity in terms of survival? Not at all. Not at all. It is constructed for the amusement and benefit of the designer. It shows his ingenuity.
Right.
There's a PBS series that said prior to Darwin, the view of biology, of biological organisms, was these were made so that men will wonder at their creator, at the genius of their creator. What I see with all this with natural selection, they're trying to remove that and say natural selection explains it. The moment we start to admit even a little much less large amounts of complexity that are integrated, that there are connections there that are made that cannot be explained in terms of reproductive success. That's lethal to the theory.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, in the debate that never was, that is God willing coming up with Dr. Rob Stadler, I'll point out that biology is constructed in such a way, some of the chemicals like DNA, that in a way that it doesn't naturally assemble. It's, again, like a Rube Goldberg machine that is made to make people wonder at the ingenuity of the designer. So, do we have the?
We have the paper, and we are ready to go.
All right, we only have 4 viewers now, so we might as well just dive right into it.
Yeah, let's pick it up. I mean, I'm sorry about all that, guys. I feel really bad, but there's not much we can do about it. The gremlins were in the YouTube machine tonight, so.
Well, maybe there's an upside to this. If it was going to bore them to death anyway, maybe it's just as well.
I suppose. So, anyway, so picking up where we left off. Smith now moves on to discuss possible falsifications, remarking that the theory has done well in the laboratory, particularly in the prediction rates of variation.
Nope, Smith, it hasn't done. I'm sorry. It has not done well in the lab. Go on.
Smith could certainly claim a like success in the industrial melanism experiments, which, by the way, that's another fraud. And since I think it may well be on the minds of the reader, I will add the topic here. Successful prediction of rates of variation is a victory for genetic theory, and the shift in allele frequency of the moth population toward the melanistic variant is one for selection theory. That would require that the second one actually happens. But, you know, you can't expect Brady to know everything.
Yeah. And I didn't know that, by the way.
No, the peppered moths, like the concept of the peppered moth makes sense. But the way the peppered moths worked out, like they've done some experiments since then, and it just wasn't. They basically phonied up the whole thing.
Whoa.
And the problem was that they kept saying, like, oh, these moths live on tree trunks. No, they don't. They live in the tops of trees. Birds aren't picking them off. That's not how that works at all. Birds aren't picking them off because they can see them easier. They live up on the tops of the trees where you can't see them really anyway. So, anyway. But yeah, so one of those things that just gets passed down through evolutionary dogma and everybody buys into it. And yeah, so moving on to the next point, which is what we're actually here for. Smith mentions that critics have admitted the strength of the lab work. I have not heard anyone deny the industrial melanism experiments. You probably need to read a little further. But these things do not deal with the part of the theory most seriously under attack. The very fact that critics do not attack here should have alerted Smith to the real focus of recent criticisms. Namely, how can the concept of fitness be tested as well as these other points have been? And so here's where he's honing it in. He's honing in his criticism right squarely on the concept of fitness, which is realistically the key point. So, Sal, do you have anything you want to toss in there?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
All right, so we'll move on. Where was I? There we go. In case further clarification is needed on the distinction made above between the part of selection theory tested by industrial melanism and the part that remains to be tested, let me point out that simple selective pressure has never been seriously in question. And that's true, by the way. That certain conditions can cause selective mortality means only that some alleles can be weeded out, not that this action can combine with variation in order to optimize adaptation. And we just crashed again, Sal. Do you want to keep reading, or do you want to stop?
Okay, this is actually, from a technical standpoint, this is informative. It's not Restream. It's not StreamYard.
Right, yep.
Oh, Lord. We're down to 2 people watching, which is probably just you and me, which is strange.
Well, because you know what that tells me? Every time it does this, people.
You know what that tells me? Okay, why don't we why don't I just type and say we're stopping the stream?
Yeah, I think we pretty much have to, so we can't.
Mr. Jetty said YouTube hates you.
It's well within the possibility at this point.
Okay, so I'm going to end the broadcast, but could you stay on?
Yeah, yep.
Okay, so I'm going to end the broadcast. And